It has been a stellar first-class performance under the lights in Bristol. Kyle Larson is the man. 462 of the 500 laps led by Hendrick Motorsports' Kyle Larson.
NASCAR fans, are you ready to talk about the craziest night at Bristol Motor Speedway during the Base Pro Shops night race? Kyle Larson just threw down one of the most dominant performances we've ever seen. 462 laps led, sweeping every stage. The man was untouchable, leading 462 out of 500 laps. But here's the thing, can anyone actually stop him on his playoff run? We're breaking down every single moment of Kyle Larson's absolute domination. And with Kansas next, can anyone keep up with the number 5 car? Are we looking at the next Cup Series champion right here? What do you think about how it ended for Martin Truex Jr. in his last season in the Cup Series? And what about the rest of the field? Who's ready to bounce back at Kansas? Buckle up, because we're diving deep into all the action, drama, and wild moments you might have missed. Let's go. Alright, so picture this. Bristol under the lights, the pressure of playoffs, and only a few races left to determine who moves forward and who goes home. Kyle Larson is on the grid, starting P2, right behind Alex Bowman, his Hendrick Motorsports teammate. But guess what? From the moment the green flag dropped, Larson was locked in. This wasn't going to be just another race. Oh no, Larson had a point to prove. By lap 33, he already grabbed the lead from Bowman and never looked back. Guys, he led 462 out of 500 laps. That's 92.4% of the race. Let that sink in for a second. That's not just leading. It's straight up owning the race.
I want to put this win in context. Most laps ever led by a Hendrick Motorsports driver in a race, beating drivers like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson.
That's pretty awesome. That's really cool because, as you mentioned, I mean, there's been some legendary Hall of Famers. We've all grown up watching Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson dominate, so pretty cool to my name to another record at Hendrick Motorsports, and again, just very fortunate to be with that group.
From the first stage, Larson was in full control. He swept the first stage, leaving everyone behind him, wondering how to even catch up. The guy was in a league of his own, straight cruising through laps like it was a casual Sunday drive. But for Larson, it wasn't just about grabbing the stage win. He had bigger things in mind, like clinching his 5th win of the season and locking himself into the next round of the playoffs. Meanwhile, Bowman, who started on pole, struggled to keep up after losing the lead. He dropped back and eventually finished in 9th place. Tough break for Bowman, but at least he secured a decent amount of points. Larson, though, the guy was unstoppable. Every time he hit the throttle, it was like he was putting the whole field on notice. And hey, shout out to Joey Logano fans. He had a rough night too, finishing 28th. Not the kind of playoff performance you'd expect from a champ, but we'll get to more on that later. Moving into the second stage, if anyone thought they had a shot at taking down Larson, they were dead wrong. By the time stage 2 rolled around, Larson wasn't just leading, he was lapping people left and right. Imagine being out there thinking you've got a shot at winning, and then you see that 5 car coming up behind you. Brutal. Guys like Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell were fighting to stay in the top 10, but it didn't matter. Larson had already lapped everyone outside the top 10, turning the rest of the field into background characters in his own NASCAR movie. And let's talk strategy for a minute. Larson's pit crew? Flawless. No mistakes, no extra adjustments needed, just perfect execution every single time they came down pit road. Larson himself said he hit his marks on every lap. That's how you win championships, folks. Precision and perfection.
Be in the fast lane by subscribing to our channel. Stay updated on all the latest NASCAR news and driver stories.
Heading into the final stage, the race was all but decided. Larson wasn't just leading, he was dominating like few drivers ever have in the history of Bristol Motor Speedway. By the time he crossed the line, he had set a new record for most laps led by a Hendrick Motorsports driver in a single race. That's right, not even legends like Jeff Gordon or Jimmy Johnson ever led this many laps in one race. For a bit of context, the last time anyone dominated like this at Bristol was way back in 1977 when Cale Yarborough led 495 laps. Larson's 462 laps led were the most since then, which just goes to show how legendary this performance was. But it wasn't just about leading laps. Larson managed to keep his composure through it all, through the pressure of the playoffs, through the night race challenges, and through the competition desperately trying to chase him down. And when he finally crossed the finish line, it was a moment. Larson grabbed his 5th win of the season, advanced to the next round of the playoffs, and basically told the entire field, good luck keeping up with me. Now, let's not forget the team behind this incredible performance. Sure, Larson drove the wheels off that car, but his Hendrick Motorsports crew was on point the entire weekend. From perfect pit stops to a car setup that didn't need a single adjustment, this was a well-oiled machine from start to finish. In his post-race interview, Larson gave all the props to his team.
Kyle, you've had a lot of good cars in your career, but is that the best car maybe you've ever had?
I don't know, I've had a lot of good cars since I've come to Hendrick Motorsports, so it's tough to say, but man, that was just great execution all weekend by the team. You know, practice good, you got to qualify good, we did that. Yeah, just had a great car, so thanks to the whole 5 team. They're the best in the business, and we dominate a lot of races, but we might not close them all out, so it feels really good to close one out here in this HendrickCars.com Chevy. Phenomenal car, could kind of manage my stuff, and then you'll really pass some cars there at the end.
And yeah, it showed. The whole weekend was a masterclass in how to dominate a race weekend from start to finish. Okay, so Larson's win was huge, but what about the rest of the playoff field? After this race, the playoff standings were shaken up big time. 4 drivers saw their championship dreams come to an end. Martin Truex Jr., who is retiring after this season, got knocked out after a speeding penalty on pit road on his last stop of the race, doomed the 2017 champion, putting him at the back of the pack, and he was unable to recover. Despite running in top 5 for nearly the entire race, a costly mistake on the pit road forced the 44-year-old out of the playoffs in his retirement season. Ty Gibbs also fell victim to the same mistake, a speeding penalty, and finished 15th, which wasn't enough to move on. Brad Keselowski, he had an off night, finishing 26th and missing the cut. And finally, Harrison Burton. This young guy needed a win to advance, but power steering issues wrecked his night early. He finished 35th, 78 laps down. Yikes. These guys are out, and we're now down to the round of 12. Larson leads the standings going into the next race at Kansas Speedway, with Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and William Byron all in hot pursuit. Other drivers running for the championship in the round of 12 include Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, Daniel Suarez, Alex Bowman, and Chase Briscoe. The intensity is about to get cranked up as we get deeper into the playoffs, so buckle up. With the way Larson's been driving, he's got to be the favorite heading into the next round. The guy's on fire, and it doesn't look like he's cooling off anytime soon. He's got a 39-point cushion over the cut line, and with Kansas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval coming up, anything can happen. The rest of the playoff field better step it up, because Larson is setting the bar sky high right now. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and William Byron are all in striking distance, but can they keep up with the speed and precision Larson's been showing? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. Kyle Larson is the man to beat. And there you have it, NASCAR fans. Kyle Larson put on an absolute show at Bristol, leading 462 laps and making history in the process. Now the question is, can anyone stop him on the road to the championship? Who do you think can give Larson a run for his money? Who is going all the way this year? And what do you think about Martin Truex Jr.'s race that ended his day as he retires from the Cup Series? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get this discussion rolling. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe for more interesting stories and updates from everything NASCAR. Do share this video with your friends. Until next time, keep the conversation going on, lucky doggone track.